Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope you guys are out there enjoying the weather and getting some rays. Maybe at the beach, swimming, or maybe fishing, throwing a couple cold one back, chillaxing. To those of you who have caught my previous podcast episodes, I really want to say thank you. It really means a lot to me. Hope it's maybe sparked some healthy debates between your coworkers, friends, family members, maybe change your way of thinking on certain topics. Today's episode is called I Am a Real American. If those of you who are wrestling fans or getting older like myself, remember that's Hulk Hogan's theme song. He'd come to the ring, waving the flag, flexing his muscles, ripping off his shirt, telling kids to say their prayers, eat their vitamins. Now, that's basically what I want to talk about today. Not so much Hulk Hogan, but what it means to be a real American. And the fundamental difference between nationalism and patriotism. And yes, there is a difference between the two of them. Nationalism believes in the superiority of their own country. They believe in classifications, whether it's by race, religion, economic status, or orientation. Patriotism is the expression of love for one's nation. There are no classifications when it comes to patriotism. Many demagogues throughout the history of our world, such as Donald Trump, and yes, he is a demagogue, and he has come out in many of his rallies and said that he is a nationalist. They use nationalism. They incite hatred. They build their power based on fear. They preach us versus them. They fuel the fear of outsiders. They incite racism, sexism, xenophobia. They have this superiority complex and this false narrative that we are better than everyone else, which I believe has led to many of our economic woes and our failing infrastructure. Instead of getting off their high horse and looking around to see what other nations like Japan, the Netherlands, Sweden, England, and the list goes on, to see what they're doing to better their infrastructure, we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, which is the definition of insanity. Many nationalists make immigrants the scapegoat to divide and conquer and distract people from the real issues and the real problems that we face today. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Statue of Liberty says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." That is true patriotism. When we reach out a hand of compassion and acceptance and not point a finger of judgment and hatred. A true patriot serves their country in any capacity, whether it's joining the military or for running for public office or volunteering to help those in need that are less fortunate. Patriots are willing to fight and die for what they believe in, like the forefathers did during the Revolutionary War. And if you're looking for a current example of patriotism, look at the Ukraine. You have farmers and just regular, everyday folk who are fighting against Vladimir Putin and the Russian army. And there's a few that I just want to give a shout out to or point out. You have Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko, Alexander Usyk, and Vasily Lomachenko, who are either at one point or still are professional athletes. They're putting their lives at risk and putting their careers on hold to fight for what they believe in. And that is a true patriot. Patriots practice inclusion, not seclusion. If you were to ask 10 people what an American looks like, acts like, or looks, or how they live, you would get 10 different points of view because American is not a race. We are bonded together by common beliefs and ideals that all people are created equal and should be judged by their character, not by their race, their religion, or their orientation. A true patriot isn't transphobic, homophobic, they certainly aren't sexist or racist. A true patriot believes that the government should be of, by, and for the people. Patriotism does not feel hatred or preach division. We accept that the world is more diverse, and there are people who practice different religions, love differently, look differently. Now, many of you may or may not know that I pretty much grew up in Lexington, home of our country. In fact, I played football for Lexington High. When I took that field and I got in the huddle, I was surrounded by people of different races, different religions, different orientations. We put aside those differences and we bonded together for a common goal. We became a band of brothers and part of an undying community. And that is a living example of patriotism, more or less. Patriots don't put a footnote or an asterisk after the expression, we the people. We accept our differences, we embrace them. Nationalism has no place in our society today. Leaders who play on our fears and try to divide us and get us to point a finger at foreigners and immigrants, saying that they're going to take our jobs. Really? Person coming to this country who doesn't have a high school education, who doesn't really speak the language, does not have the resources or the access to technology, is going to take your job. If they take your job, then you must be lazy or stupid. We need to point the finger where it squarely belongs being pointed at, and that is corporate America and our leaders. People who refuse to raise the minimum wage and who outsource our jobs, who try to play us like we are stupid, that is where the finger needs to be pointed at. People like Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, people who just try to excite people to believe stupid narratives, who try to put people in a box, who try to divide them, who try to fuel hatred. We need to tear down those walls of hatred. We need to stand up as patriots, as our forefathers did, and fight for what is right. And before you think that I hate my country, I love the United States of America. I am proud to say that I am a Black, Mexican, Native American, and I enjoy the privileges and freedoms that I am allowed to have. But it's because of patriotism that we have those freedoms and those privileges. We didn't accept when England tried to tax us without representation. We fought for what we believed in, even if it meant dying for it. And that's what we need to do today. We need to fight. We need to stand up to all these politicians trying to preach this hatred. And we need to say that no more. We can't stand for this anymore. Nationalism is dangerous. We have too many people just using this rhetoric of hatred and division to keep us in our place, and I say no more. We need to show true patriotism. We need to vote. We need to rally. We need to protest. People forget that at one point in this country, things were separate but equal. Blacks couldn't vote, women couldn't work, they couldn't vote either. Marginalized minorities were treated as second class citizens, and in fact, in many cases, they still are. So I'm asking all of you out there who take the time to listen to this, let's stand together in solidarity and show Congress, Senate, even Biden what true patriotism is. Let's put aside our differences. Let's hold hands and stand together. Well, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Just wanted to be honest with you guys. And you'll hear from me soon. Have a good one.